set of reasons and arguments for why Manny Pacquiao can be considered the greatest of all time or the greatest, like Muhammad Ali. And why I'm going to do this and how I'm going to do this real simple. Um, First of all, the title "The Greatest" can be like the title "The Best Ever." It can be like the title "The Hitman," for example, Thomas the Hitman Hearns. You had Ricky the Hitman Hatton. You have El Chalo the Hitman, uh, Jamel the Hitman Charlo. So a title can be used by multiple people over time. I remember Mike Tyson saying that he's the best ever. You know what I mean? So that in and of itself, first of all, lends to Manny Pacquiao being called the greatest of all time if he wants to. Second thing, Manny Pacquiao won championship titles. I'm talking about legitimate championship titles, respected championship titles, not partial championship titles, you know, major world championship titles and also linear titles over four of the original weight classes. He started at flyweight, he was lineal and WBC champion. Then he went to featherweight, and he was the lineal champion there. That's the man. He was the best guy out there, the guy everybody guns for. Then he went to lightweight, and he won the WBC title, which is the world championship title. Okay, and then he went to welterweight, and he was the lineal as well as the WBO, the WBA world champion there. At different times, he was the WBO and WBA. He was up to recently the WBA super champion. Now, that feat has never been accomplished by any boxer in history, not even the great Henry Armstrong, who was featherweight champion, lightweight world champion, and welterweight world champion in the same year, and he drew at middleweight with a version of the middleweight title that was respected and understood by Californians, the American Middleweight Championship. But he drew. So he fell short of that accomplishment. And Manny Pacquiao's done, and everybody knows Henry Armstrong is one of the greatest fighters of all time. Top three. People consider him commonly. Pacquiao did better than that. There's another reason. Manny Pacquiao didn't just win world titles in all these divisions. He beat the very best guy available in, if I'm not mistaken, two of them. Okay, Cha-Cha Sasakul and Marco Antonio Barrera. Again, tremendously awesome. Um, and Manny Pacquiao has faced the who's who in boxing. No matter how you look at it, slice it, or dice it, you can, of course, say there were certain conditions that favored him or whatever. But at the end of the day, he faced all the named guys. Particularly at welterweight, he has done tremendously well. And I would say that the ending part of his career actually is better than the beginning part of his career at welterweight, because there was all these catch weights and all these things. And even though he was more sensational in the beginning part of his career, definitely the ending part of his career, he has proven without a shadow of a doubt that he could take on guys much younger than him in their primes, beating them. And there's no real asterisk to put on it, you know. And the pinnacle in his career, in my opinion, his most highest quality win and the best win of his career has been against Keith Thurman. He was 40 years old when he beat Keith Thurman. Keith Thurman was a guy that was dominating everybody, beating everybody, and he managed to get a split decision win over Keith Thurman. That, to me, is the pinnacle of his career. The Ugas fight was also a very good fight, and again, a very quality win. The other quality wins that I think, there are no asterisks really on them is the Timothy Bradley win. Um, Bradley, of course, didn't pack a lot of punch, though, but a very quality fighter. Um, and, of course, his wins over Marquez, there are no asterisks on that, except people think that Marquez won some of those fights. Um, You know, and he's had a lot of good wins, but I'm talking about the pinnacle wins of his career. Also, Marco Antonio Barrera in his prime, how he just vanquished him in 11 rounds. Again, no asterisks on that. That's just was just fantastic. You know, and there's many more. Don't get me wrong, but I'm just talking about the pinnacle ones, in my opinion, for me. Not the most sensational, the pinnacle ones, quality fighters. You know, top tier quality fighters. You know, one more point I want to make why Pacquiao can get, I think, this this title, the greatest, and he earned it. He's had 71 fights, first of all. That's more than Muhammad Ali. That's more than a lot of fighters. Okay, and yeah, he didn't win all. He even got knocked out in a couple of them. But this guy, his tenacity to overcome being the underdog. How many times have we packed it? How many times we said he's going to lose? How many times we said he's done, his career is over, and he keeps proving us wrong? The wow factor, the fact that Pacquiao could produce that wow factor in the population and defy the odds. Remember, this is a guy, he has no reach advantage like Muhammad Ali. Muhammad Ali in a lot of his fights had a reach advantage, height advantage, sometimes even size advantage. Pacquiao may have had size advantage in certain fights, but he has never had the reach and height advantage. He's never been taller than any opponent he's faced, and he's never had a longer reach than anybody he's faced. And in spite of all of that, he is able to beat guys who are excellent jabbers and excellent boxers and great boxing minds, and you know, great counter punches as well, quality fighters. So that's why I believe that he has that claim. Not to mention how many stats, like he's beaten a lot of world champions. He's probably the second highest in terms of beating world champions than Floyd Mayweather. He's faced more world champions than Floyd Mayweather. Um, you know, and the never say die kind of nature of Pacquiao. You know, you got to give it to him. So if he decides, you know, and the Filipino people of the Philippines feel that Pacquiao gets a bad shake because, you know, they only focus on America or American boxers, and I kind of understand what they're saying to some degree because Manny Pacquiao has gone beyond and above in terms of, I mean, if you look at his welterweight championship fights, okay, he has a lot more than Floyd. I think he has right now 16 championship fights or 17 championship fights at welterweight. This is rivaling Henry Armstrong, bro, ladies and gentlemen. Henry Armstrong had 20, I believe, or 21. And Pacquiao had 16 or 17. Yes, he lost some, but he gained back his championship. Like every time he lost a championship, he gained it back. And I think he's like a five-time welterweight world champion. He might be six-time. I mean, this guy's able. You know, not to mention in the junior weight classes, he's also won lineal titles there, right? So unmistakably, this guy is, you know. And then think about this: Marquez was the future lineal champion at lightweight. Pacquiao beat Marquez, right? Uh, Eric Morales was the future super lightweight world champion, WBC. He beat Eric Morales, and he also beat Ricky Hatton. Okay? I mean, just think about what I'm saying. The quality kind of guys that Pacquiao faced and how he performed, right? So these are some of the arguments for why Pacquiao deserves to claim that he is the greatest. And nobody can actually go against that because he really did that. He did these accomplishments, and these are rare accomplishments that very few fighters have. Yeah, people say, well, he wasn't undisputed. Well, he was lineal champion. He was lineal champion at welterweight. He was lineal champion at featherweight, and he was lineal champion at uh, flyweight. That's three of the four divisions. And the lineal champion is the man. If you can't get undisputed, lineal champion is what you go with. And while lineal championship is an honorary title, it's not a world championship title if we're going to be so specific about things. it is just as valid. How much you need? I'll catch you guys later. Peace.